What's up, witches? I'm Casey. Welcome to Bewitching Beauty. Before we jump into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. Are there other indie brands that you like? Let me know what I should check out. So today, as you can see, we kind of did a dark, little bit gothy, witchy kind of vibe in anticipation of reviewing Coven Kosmetics and the Coven Palette. So I am super excited. Coven Kosmetics is a smaller indie brand. I have never tried their products before, so this is the first product I am testing today. I'm not going to spoil it and tell you now what I think of the products, but if you want to see how I got this look, stick around. This is the palette we will be working with today. I am super excited. This is the Coven Palette by Coven Kosmetics. They are an awesome indie brand, and this is my first time trying out their products. So I'm super excited to jump into this. There is essentially the perfect combination of mattes and shimmers in this palette, and it does also include 3 glitters. So I don't know if I'll be jumping into glitter today, but definitely something using a really cool combination of the mattes and shimmers. So I'm going to show you guys a quick look inside here of the shimmers, mattes, and glitters. So the setup of the palette has the glitters right down the center, you will notice, and then on this side there is almost like this foresty, earthy color story that is really pretty. It does include a light cream shade, which is always good for setting the eyelid if you prefer that method of priming your eyes before eyeshadow. It does also include a jet black. So having the cream and the black obviously is going to be very helpful in having a well-rounded palette. On the other side, we have this sort of like more romantic red, purple, pink tones to these colors. I am really drawn to this side right here today, so I think I might be leaning towards these sort of purplies, red, maroons, and then of course we do have the 3 glitters down the center. So the top one is kind of a pale gold. The middle is a somewhat holographic silver glitter, and then down at the bottom we have another gold that leans kind of towards a rose gold. This palette does come with a mirror, which of course I have already put my frickin' fingerprints all over in true Casey fashion. Okay, so don't judge me. Before we jump into it, I am going to pop a Galaxy Bud into my ear because I need some music. You might notice a little bit of a curve right here. I have driven myself crazy trying to hold a mirror while I do my makeup in front of the camera. So from now on, I am going to have a table mirror here. So hopefully this little curve you see won't be too distracting as we kind of walk through the different steps. I am going to start with primer as always. A lot of the items I'm going to use today will be mentioned and more in detail in my tried and true video that was just recently posted, so you can check that out right up here if you were interested in seeing more detailed explanation of the different products that I use as my favorites. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my tried and true primers. This is the Dr. Brandt Luminizer Primer and the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This one goes in the center of my face, and this one I use for my under eyes. So let's go ahead and prime. Guess who remembered to wet her beauty blender today? It's me. Today I'm gonna go ahead and use my Target Shape Tape for my under eyes and center of my face area. I am in the shade Fair Beige. somehow I managed to get concealer in every fucking eyelash. Okay, so now that my 30-year-old dark circles are gone, let's move on to eyebrows. Oh, just kidding. I already put my eyebrows on. I have decided that that shit is too fucking boring to do on camera, and it's just another 5-minute process that you're bored, I'm bored, so I bored myself without torturing you and taking you down with me. You're welcome. So, eyebrows are done. We can move on to eye priming. We're just getting closer and closer and closer to digging into this guy. I'm gonna use my ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer in Fair 10N for my eyelid priming. Moment of truth. Time to dig into this palette, and I have no idea what I want to start with. Any suggestions? Okay, there is just a color that is calling my name, so I'm gonna just trust my instinct, and we're gonna go ahead and jump into that. So it is this middle shade right here that's sort of a maroon violet tone, this one. I am going to, because this is my first time jumping into this palette, I don't want to assume that this is super crazy pigmented or not as pigmented, so I'm going to start by taking a little on my brush and just stippling it into my crease, and we'll see how pigmented it is so that we know how to approach it. Well, looks pretty fucking pigmented to me. Oh boy. Yes, ma'am, that is pigmented. That is that is incredibly pigmented. Approach with caution. So pigmented. I dipped into that color maybe 2 times and stippled some of it down, blended some of it out, and started to kind of wing out the shadow. I'm not too worried about how messy it looks on that bottom because I can easily take a sharp brush with a concealer and just sort of clean that up when we're done. So my goodness, that is pigmented. Next, I want to make sure that that edge that I have is blown out really nicely. So next, I am going to go in with that top cream colored eyeshadow and just blow that out. Want to put more depth into that just outer crease area. So I am going to take a little bit of the black and a little bit of the color that I've been working with and just create a step darker in that corner crease. Careful with a black shadow. Take the teeniest little bit on your brush, especially as pigmented as this palette is. Be careful. Okay, so I do want to go in with some shimmer on the inner eyelid. I don't want to cover any of that work that we did in the outer crease. I like the depth, but want to continue to enhance the inner crease at this point. So I'm going to cut the inner crease, and then after that, we're creating like a really great blank slate canvas to add shimmers on top of. So we can try out the shimmers and see how those work. So I'll just be taking some concealer on the back of my hand, a small packing brush, and cutting out the crease. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first shadow that I want to go on top of that cut crease is going to be this beautiful shimmer. This very bottom one right here has a ton of depth, so I really think it's going to complement that deep outer corner that we created. So I'm just going to go in with my fingers. I know some people don't like to do that. I don't care. I'm not some people. That's what we're doing. And that just blended perfectly into our outer crease. So very pretty, very excited. When you put it on the eye, it reads more as a matte than it does a shimmer in the palette, which honestly I'm really happy with because it works really well with that matte crease on the outside. So now I'm going to go one step lighter. So I'm gonna go into this one right here towards the middle of my eyelid. It's beautiful. And then last, I'm gonna go in with this top corner color and do the inner corner right there. So the middle shade pulled a little warmer than I was hoping for, so I think I'm gonna go back over the middle area with this more purpley tone right here. Both eyes now have all the shadow done on the top. Now, one thing that is totally me, has nothing to do with the shadow, is that I kind of lost some of the actual cut on the dark shade of the top of the cut crease. So I'm gonna go in with a thin brush into that initial shade that we worked with and just sort of like create a more crisp separation between the shimmers on the lid and the outer blended sort of maroon violet shade. I'm gonna do that now. on in and sort of finessed a lot of it, blended a lot of different things out. I think I'm really liking the top. And so now I want to go into the bottom lash line with a ridiculously bright color. I'm gonna go in with this super bright purple on the outside of the lower lash line. So now I'm going to go in with the very first brush that we used that still has a little bit of that maroon violet-y shade on it, and I'm going to blow out that purple color. I went a little crazy down here, so I'm just gonna clean that up a little bit. Okay, now with the same brush that we used to cut the crease, I am going to put a little bit more concealer on the back of my hand, and I am going to cut this angle of the outer corner so it's a super crisp line. Once we do that cut, we can take the Beauty Blender and just blend that back out to our concealer. Okay, so now we have that super crisp line. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So I ended up cutting up and then just a little bit down also, which I think looks super cool. That was fun. Next, I am going to put on some eyeliner. I'm not going to do a wing because I really feel like this cut angle at the outside edge sort of served that purpose. Doesn't really seem necessary. So I'm going to put on some eyeliner, and then I'm going to put on some lashes, and then we can talk about some highlighter and a lip color. Now we have lashes on top and bottom. These are Moxie lashes in the style Baddie. And I think next, let's go into blush. Now everybody stay calm. We know what happened in the past, so we're gonna be careful. I'm gonna go into my Ace Beauty Blush in Paradise palette. Ever since I got this in BoxyCharm this month, I am kind of in love with this palette. It is super noob friendly. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go into this one right here because I feel like it's got kind of a purple undertone that will work well with the color scheme we've got going on the eyes. Oh no. I put too much on one day. One day I'm gonna learn how to put blush on. I'm gonna do a little inner corner highlight. I'm gonna use this Super Shock Shadow by ColourPop in the shade Ladybird. Okay, so now we are going to highlight. I am going to go into my current favorite, the Tribe Highlighter Volume 3 by Juvia's Place. No such thing as too much. Put some more on. I am gonna go on to a lip now. I know every once in a while I should try a nude, but I really don't feel like this is the time for a nude. So we're gonna go into a dark lip because it's my fucking favorite. This is a Morphe liquid lipstick in the shade Mood. Okay, so I think that is almost the finished look. we're gonna need some setting spray. So I'm just gonna go ahead in with one of my favorites. This is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. Okay, so this is essentially our finished look. I really enjoyed working with the shadows in the Coven palette. They're really pretty. The mattes especially have the most exceptional pigment and payoff. They blended beautifully. I am super excited to try more products from Coven Kosmetics, so would definitely recommend. Their products are reasonably inexpensive. I definitely suggest checking them out. I hope you guys enjoyed this finished look. Don't forget, before you go, to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. Do you like a lot of indie brands? Please let me know some other brands that I should try out. Be sure to leave me some love below, and see you next time, witches.